Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDO44 coming at you with another video. I did not see the highlights of this game just yet. In fact, I don't even know if the game is quite over. But the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat got into a pretty serious altercation, more or less as a team. I'd say not so much, but it was verbal. Basically, Markeith Morris fouled Jokic, kind of gave him a under shoulder kind of, how do you say it? You lowered his shoulder into the foul. I guess they were fouling, trying to stop the clock and put Jokic to the line down the stretch of the game. That's what I'm guessing was happening there. And basically what I saw was Jokic kind of take that lowered shoulder, and then as Markeith Morris was walking away from doing so, he charged into to the back of his neck and kind of just sent him flying. Jokic is a big guy, man. You're a big dude. Now, granted, Markeith is not small either. Markeith Morris was a power forward for the Lakers, so we know Markeith is a tough dude. He's strong. He's had a reputation around the league. Him and his brother for guys that don't play. But I don't know. Maybe they had gotten into it some. I didn't see the game or the highlights, as I said, but these type of highlights. When you see these type of clips, rather, you don't see what leads up to them. You don't see the context. I've seen enough basketball to know that guys don't do things for no reason. A guy like Jokic had to have been pushed to his absolute limit. Uh, you know what I mean? I've seen situations, man, where you'll see the lead up. Like, for example, I remember watching this podcast uh, where this guy, the dude from Mad TV, man, Airspeeders, had kind of gotten on this one dude's nerves, man. They went on the podcast. They were on the podcast together. Man, my mind is gone blank, but Airspeeders had got under this guy's skin. He had said the wrong thing to the wrong person. Over time, it was good 3 hours, and Aries was just kind of, letting the liquor get to him a little bit. And the guy had finally had enough. Got up and started, punching an Airy in his head. Now, if you just see the clip of him punching Airy in his head, you're saying, "Oh man, this dude assaulted Airspeeders. What the hell?" But if you actually sit there and watch the 3 hours interview, you'll say to yourself, Airy was asking for it for a while. And to be honest with you, he was asking for it so much, you're actually surprised he didn't punch him sooner. And my thing was, after sitting there, I'm like, obviously Airspeeders is a comedian, so you don't want to take what he's saying too seriously. Plus, he's liquored up, so you don't want to take him too seriously. But at the same time, it's like if he's pressing all the right buttons, he's saying all the right disrespectful stuff. It's not fun and games anymore, and you're still hearing these jokes from this man hours on end. After 2-3 hours of him being just the way that he's being, it's like, all right, everyone has a breaking point. So I said all that to say, I know these things can lead up. I know Jokic didn't just decide, let me just go ahead and assault this man. That ain't how that went. Markeith and the Miami Heat, I'm sure, were doing their job, trying to get under the skin of the best player in the league, or the MVP rather. And of course, it was effective because he lost his cool and ended up doing what he did. And now it's going to probably cost him a game. I'm sure they're going to suspend him and fine him and all of that good stuff. Jimmy Butler and the Heat were talking about, bring that stuff to the back. They were screaming back and forth to Jokic, telling him that basically they want to fight. They want to see him behind the scenes and handle that behind the scenes. So, it's bad blood there. Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets, luckily enough, they don't have to play each other but twice. But that won't be soon forgotten. Now, granted, Jokic is the MVP once again. He's going to have to understand that keeping his cool is his job. It's one of those situations where you're playing at that level, you have to understand that people are going to do and say what they have to do to knock you off your game, because if they knock you off your game, then they knock off your whole team. And all the great players had to go through that. All of the best players have to go through those moments. Anybody that leads a basketball team has to deal with the enforcer being sent by the coach most times to get under your skin and ultimately get you to do exactly what Jokic did tonight. And, Markeith Morris, he could have got really hurt in that situation. In the play that he lowered his shoulder, he lowered his shoulder, but he didn't follow through. I know a lot of people in the comment section saying he lowered his shoulder first. Yes, he did, but he didn't follow through. There's a difference. When you lower your shoulder on somebody and you follow it all the way through and you lift up like Jokic did, that's different. Because he lowered his shoulder into that man's back. Man was turned away. And it's sort of like a situation where you getting hit, you're getting rear-ended in your car, you know what I mean, and you're not prepared for it. The brace could snap your neck back. The recoil can really cause damage. And mind you, Nikola Jokic is 7 feet tall, 300-something pounds. Him rushing at you in anger, following through with the lower shoulder. Yeah, Markeith Morris is a big dude, but that's a very, very, very dangerous situation because of Jokic's size. Now, if this is somebody like me, 5'10", it's probably not going to do the same thing to a guy like Markeith Morris. But if I'm 7 feet tall and I'm a big dude like Jokic, it's not like a regular person doing that to you. So, I don't think Markeith Morris was playing around. I'm saying this because they had the Miami Heat representatives, all of their trainers were out there kind of hovering over him as if he had a neck injury in the picture that I saw before actually seeing what happened. So the first thing I saw was Jokic lowered his shoulder into Markeith Morris, and then they show Markeith on the ground as if he had a neck injury and everybody hovering over him, that kind of thing. So I'm like, what happened? And when I see it, I understand. Like, could one argue that Markeith may have embellished some to get Jokic thrown out? One could come to such a conclusion, but in watching it, that ain't the conclusion I claim to. I think Markeith was very seriously, I ain't gonna say he was seriously hurt, but I'm saying the opportunity for him to get seriously hurt was real. And the way his neck snapped back, the way his spine kind of snapped back when Jokic rammed into him, it looked really, really scary, man. And like I said, I'm not sitting here saying Jokic wasn't in the right. I don't know. For all I know, Markeith may have done or said, who knows. But there's no room in basketball for that kind of stuff, man. When a person says something to you or does something to you, lowers his shoulder on you, give him the same energy you gave him. Don't do something like that in anger. You know what I mean? In just impulsive anger. That's a dangerous thing. And all of us have that breaking point, but I think all of us are responsible for trying to figure out how not to let it sabotage what we have going on. Now, I find myself struggling with that at times. As I've discussed with you guys with my mental health and things that I've struggled with, especially this year. It's been a rough one, but one thing that I try to work on is just not being impulsive, especially in anger. I saw a meme that kind of aligned with this as well. It was a wolf, trying to chase a bird off of a cliff, and it showed the dog's two hind legs as he's leaping off the cliff in complete anger, trying to lunge at this bird. Clearly he's going to fall to his doom, but he's none the wiser because he's doing this in anger, and he's so ferociously angry at the bird that he could care less if it kills him. He could care less. He's not even thinking about that. He just wants to get his teeth on that bird. And that's kind of along the lines of the same thing. I think about rage quitting and rage video game situations where you throw your controller across the room in anger. I've broken maybe 2 or 3 controllers that way in my life. Just playing NBA 2K, raging out because of glitches and all kinds of different server issues and stuff. It's happened, you know what I mean? And you just don't know. My thing when it comes to those type of moments is you just don't know where it begins or ends with people. You know what I mean? That's my concern. And I don't want to take this too far because we're speaking specifically about athletes, but it just makes you really think about how important it is to maintain your cool and keep your mental health, and to keep your eyes open for people who act impulsively like this. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a lowered shoulder this day, maybe it's a gun pulled the next day. The way I was raised is you pay attention to that kind of stuff. Now, as far as Jokic is concerned, this is basketball we're talking about again. That doesn't necessarily have to apply to him. Only thing I'm saying in regards to that is he's going to have to work on keeping his cool because he's the MVP, bro. and guys are gonna come after you. Anytime they come in for the Nuggets, it's like, oh, now we see Jokic is weak, and that he's weaker than mine. We could get to him. Look how he got Markeith. Damn. So in the playoff times, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna you're gonna be getting more of the same. All that showed us is that whatever Markeith was doing, it worked, Jokic. That's all that showed us, bro. That's all you showed the league tonight, is that you are vulnerable in that way. So now as to where people weren't probably trying you like that, you best believe you're gonna be tried every single time you run into a player like that or a coach like that. So it's a bad day for the Denver Nuggets all the way around. Like I said, their MVP's gonna miss some games. You already got to deal with Michael Porter Jr. over there in Denver, who's now starting to have issues with his back. They shut him down a little bit. Of course, Jamal Murray still not back from injury. So things are not getting a whole lot better in terms of their roster. You do have to love what you're getting out of players like Will Barton, who went completely nuts tonight. I saw that as I was looking at stats. But as far as everything else, it's just, I'm just curious to see what the NBA is going to do in regards to, how they're going to come down on him. Will there be a suspension? I'd imagine so. I think he's going to have to sit out a game. I don't think they're going to suspend him too much. And this is a situation where I think his reputation is going to work in his favor, because this isn't something that he's ever done before. This is not like him. If he were, say, Boogie Cousins type of behavior, type of reputation, I think you'd be looking at a very serious suspension. But I think this is going to work in his favor. I think he'll be fine as far as the long-term aspects of it. He's going to have to give up some money, though. They're definitely going to find him. So, yeah, man. Do better, everybody. Do better. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else to say, really. I wish I would have did a better job of explaining what I saw, but whatever. I think you guys get the point. Point is, those two got into it. Markeith did throw the first lowered shoulder move, and Jokic followed it up with I have to call it a sucker move. I mean, it is what it is. When somebody's got their back turned, you know what I'm saying? That's not how you go. That's not the way to go, bro. But at the same time, when somebody's raging out, all they see is red. It's not like his ethics are coming to mind. He just like, this dude got me, I'm gonna get him back. And by the time he had done it, his ethics probably kicked in or something. Like, that's how it usually goes for me. So it's like, damn, I wish I didn't do that, but it's too late now. It's already done. So yeah, man, it's about the preparation. It's about what you do leading up to those moments. Not allowing stress to get to you, not allowing pressure to get to you, meditation, stuff like that. Those things help leading up to those moments so that you'll have more control over those emotions. And that's what I'll leave you guys with. My name is BDL44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.